How do you even think to start that and conceptualize it? How does that even start?
Well, we had a problem.
Okay.
Right? Our problem was we're getting deal flow that we can't fill. So we're getting allocations to deals that are really good and where we'd be so lucky to be on the cap table. And we're like, we can't.
So
we don't have the personal
says, hey,
capital
we'll
anymore.
give you $1 million allocation. You're like, okay, we don't have the $1 million for all these different deals.
$1 million. I mean, 150,000. Sure, whatever it was. So Erin's husband goes, you guys, you've reached the point now. Like, you need real skin in the game. You need to own between, 3 and 10% of these businesses that you are helping.
I know.
You guys need
all
to
those
go.
blowjobs are really getting. He thinks
blow it
very
down,
clearly.
Blow the house down.
He's like, you
clearly.
guys need to go out. And you need to raise money, but you need to do it with a great partner because you're doing a million other things. So I know who your partner should be. It should be this guy, Phil Schwartz. Phil is an investor out of Chicago. He brought us the mirror because it was too late stage for his firm. He brought it to us. We had stayed in contact with him. And he's like, that's who you need to do it with. So he's our partner. His fund in Chicago anchored our fund. And it's like an incredible,
it's been cool.
It's an incredible partnership.
And so what stage companies are you looking at now?
I mean, like seed A, like
okay.
we're opportunistic up to a little bit of the fund, but
I wonder we should.
seed.
Well, the reason I asked you asked about the supplement thing. Now I understand maybe because what we do through here is we will write checks, but we're not a VC, so we'll do early. And we stood up these brands. We'll put.
But you don't like lead rounds. You just.
We have led rounds.
Oh, interesting.
But early. But then we'll go into things. I don't know how much I want to say, but I'll tell you. But we go into a lot of things, and the theory is that then this platform of Dear Media can help accelerate
for sure
those things.
Yeah.
But to your point,
right? You're like, if I'm moving the needle for you guys, I need.
But we find people like you that will lead, and then we'll say, okay, well,
we don't lead rounds.
Okay,
but our partner does.
Yeah.
But our partner does.
But you get what I'm saying? It's like, like the theory is like, okay, like could this platform give a greater lift? To whatever it is.
And I think what's cool about Dear Media is that there's 100 podcasts on it, so you can put it through the funnel of the podcast.
Yeah, totally. No, you guys have built an incredible thing.
Yeah,
it's all him.
No,
it's not because
that's not all.
No, it's not.
It's not all me.
It's really not. Don't sell yourself short. Those blowjobs are really getting things done.
No,
blowjobs, talent recommendations.
Maybe similar to you guys. I
conversation.
No, it's a partnership.
He talks a lot in the morning.
No, but I looked at like how hard it was because I come from the e-com world. I looked at how expensive it was getting. And I'm like, what's the unfair advantages if you could eliminate that spend?
You mean to acquire a customer?
Yeah. So if you can eliminate that spend and speak directly to the person, that's an unfair
Well, that's what we're doing
advantage.
with Favorite Daughter with our clothing company.
Yeah, I want to talk about you as entrepreneurs because I look at you as entrepreneurs now. Is that how you would identify?
I would like that. Yeah, I think. That's
I
good.
mean, it's crazy. Like
multi-hyphenate.
Yeah. I mean, I think sure, I'll take it all. I mean, I think. I don't know for you. I mean, Erin's the creator of a Kristen Bell Netflix show that premieres in October. September.
No big deal.
So
casual.
Yeah, casual.
Yeah.
Casual.
Yeah.
Well,
let's see if it's a hit. Hopefully it's a hit.
It's going to be a hit.
It's for sure
it's going to be the biggest hit
It's going to
ever.
be the biggest hit ever.
No, but it actually is.
You're kind of funny because you're really funny, but because you're like very confident, but also like kind of hedging a little bit.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I try
like
not
it's
to
a big deal what we're talking about.
Did you guys think you were going to come to therapy?
It is a big deal. No, it's a big deal, but I think I try to take things with like a measured amount of excitement or enthusiasm because
I've had so many disappointments.
Yeah, like especially as a writer, honestly, you do a lot of work that you don't get paid to do, or you get paid really good money for something that never makes it on the air. And the second something is dropped or canceled or they don't want your script or whatever it is, you genuinely have to like close that chapter and move on to the next thing. You have to get over it. Like there's no turning back.
Hard.
No one else is going to buy it from you now. Like those words will go nowhere. No one will see them. You just have to like let it go.
I mean, occasionally other streamers or networks will come and revive, but it very seldom.
Really hard to
Once
make
you're
that
dead,
happen,
you're
though.
dead.
So I just sort of have a mentality of like, if it's a hit, everyone's going to know it's a hit and I don't have to talk about it, right? If I hype it up and it's not a hit, then that'll be embarrassing. So I like to try to let it speak for itself.
I feel like though you have to go through all those different things you went through to get to where you need to be. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Like,
no, I've had a really unique year that has felt really exciting. I'm not trying to downplay it in a way that it's like so humble, it's unrealistic or something. Like it's more an internal thing where I get really excited and proud of myself in like small ways, but I get nervous to hype something up publicly because I have no control at this point whether people love it or hate it, you know? So I kind of am curious to see what happens. But it was very interesting for me to be pregnant while shooting, you know, my first like full to series show on Netflix with stars that were in it like they were in it. It was really surreal for me and really challenging and, fulfilling in a very cool way.
What's it about?
It's loosely based on me. When I met my husband, I converted to Judaism for him, or for me, but because of him. And the process was just so interesting. And so I sold a show about a girl who has a podcast that's sort of about like sex in the modern world. And then she falls in love with this guy who's this young, cute rabbi. So my husband's not a rabbi. He's just Jewish. But for the sake of the show, you like dial it up a little bit.
But to be clear, we sold this when we had a deal at Disney like 5 years ago. So the fact that it's actually happening now, I think there's such a disconnect that people don't understand how long things can actually take, and then it becomes real when Kristen Bell and Adam Brody want to be in it. And
yeah, they're really cute together.
So do you just keep firing off things like that one you did? You have to wait 5 years, but in between,
we tried to sell like
keep going
10 things under our deal. We didn't sell anything.
But I was having a real crisis of faith for a few years because I was a writer who wrote about my life experiences, typically about being single and like not figuring it out. And then I met someone and I got really happy and I didn't feel very inspired. And he's very private. So he was sort of like, you can't really write about our life. And then I sold this idea and it was sort of uncomfortable for him because he was like, wait, so you're like making fun of me and my family and how different we are from you and your family. And I realized that there's another person in my life that I have to take into account now. I can't just like making fun of myself is easy, but there's this other person there. So it was uncomfortable for a while for me to figure out how to do it. And I honestly did get really into being a wife and like becoming domestic. And we were trying to have kids for so long now since we got together basically. And that just became my focus. And all the business stuff is really fulfilling. But when you have like a creative talent that you want to fulfill and you're not doing that, you feel a little like you're not living up to your potential. So I had a hard time around COVID, just feeling like, what am I doing with my life? I'm not really fulfilling what I'm meant to be doing. I'm fulfilling stuff that's
everything
fun
else
to do.
felt like fluff to you. Like, and that's what I was saying. Like when you have such an innate talent, right? Like being a writer, it doesn't matter that you have a profitable clothing line or an investment fund or a podcast that people really love. If you're not doing the thing you were put on this earth to do, which is right, you feel like a failure. You feel like
I did feel like a failure for sure.
Yeah.
So then when the show finally got bought, like so many years later, it was really satisfying for me, even though it was hard doing it pregnant, all the things. But like it felt like things had come full circle and I had figured out a way to have that too.
How are you guys structuring your day with all the stuff you have going on? Do you have like structure or routine around it? Or is it just kind of like...
We are like, what do you always, Erin always calls it like the accidental empire. Like we are not organized people. We are a disaster.
I think we really are. What's endearing about you guys.
We never were like, ooh, like let's be this sister duo and let's have all these things and let's be these people. Like we were late to join Instagram. We were not like, this was not a plan at all. None of it. I didn't even want a clothing company.
I don't know. It's hard. It's like you're saying about 30% of everything and being a mom and all that. It is hard. It's really tricky.
I mean, I've been handling most everything while she's been on set 15 hours a day.
True. Oh, hold
but you know what? We'll do
you
this again.
guys can come back anytime. I have
Yeah,
100 more questions. I didn't want to talk about
We could
beauty,
riff for a long
wellness,
time.
health, diet, your schedule, your routine.
Well, we have to talk about our podcast and favorite daughter.
yes,
because you have so many
so
listeners who
talk that like let's end
why I wanna
it
save-
with
that's
you
why I wanna
guys
get you
talking
some time.
about all the things that you're doing. Go.
Well, and really the answer to how we do everything is because of Montana. Montana is like keeps us on track.
I get it. I have to have someone to keep me on track.
He's scared back there for whatever she said to him. Is it she or he?
She.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
no, we're not
he's like,
organized.
check your phone, Michael.
Well,